All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, on the app as well. Yeah, of course, on the app, you can listen to the radio all day long, go to On Demand. You can catch this show, a bunch of different shows right out of the 1010XL podcast studios, as I am this Friday morning. Happy Good Friday to everybody out there. Happy Friday overall to everybody as well. And this show brought to you by Team Tommy Mack. And we got a lot to get into. I got a couple questions out there. We're gonna throw to the crowd. And before we do that and everything else, including welcoming Team Tommy Mack, let's say hello to Grammage this morning, who was up late last night watching his Tar Heels getting taken down by Bama. I didn't know Bama had a basketball team. Oh, yeah. I thought they were all football over there, maybe a little bit of baseball. But man, what a game by them, I guess. I didn't watch a lick of it. Starts too late for me.
Their coach, Nate Oates, just got a huge extension a couple weeks ago because he's had really good success there.
Good.
It's the best Alabama basketball has been in a long time.
They should have great athletes, and they do, I would imagine. What did I ask you? Because I haven't seen – I really don't watch college basketball. Now, I watched some of the – I watched Clemson beat Arizona. That was a great game. Hats off to them. That was a great game to watch. We watched probably the second half of that. But then it gets into 10 o'clock. You know, if I'm not out doing something like shooting pool or – hanging out with people, standing around and, mingling with that. I get sleepy on the couch, man.
If you're a little bit horizontal and
forget
and comfortable, it. The lights are low.
I got my head back on the pillow on the couch, It's like, forget it. I'm going to sleep. But Tar Heels, number one seed, out the door. That's what you got to love. Not when you're on the losing end, but that's what you love about March Madness, man. Anything can happen.
I mean, if you were an innocent bystander of that game and weren't like, obviously, I was upset because I was rooting for the Tar Heels to win. But if you're just watching that game for the hell of watching, it was one of the best college basketball games.
What was the score? I didn't even check it out.
The final was
pretty close.
Yeah, it was a 2-point game.
Okay, that's great. That's great, man.
Yeah, but
not a lot of time to scout. It's that's what's cool about it too. You really don't have a lot of time to scout. If you don't know anything about that team, man, it's like we're just going to play our game and hopefully it's better than their game.
It's not. It's two teams that haven't played all year. They're not familiar with each other. They don't play the same opponents. You're talking about an ACC team and an SEC team. I'm very familiar with Alabama because my number one team is the Gators because I went to Florida. Yep. And Florida played them 3 times, and Florida killed Alabama twice.
Oh, really?
And
early in the year or
no?
Really?
They killed them in the SEC championship or in the SEC semifinal game.
Yep.
Or quarterfinal. But that was a frustrating game. If I get too into it,
it's tough. Yeah, no, listen, it's tough. You really like that team. You grew up watching that team. You're invested in that team. Speaking of UF, I went to the Florida State baseball game. I should say Florida baseball game because Florida State, holy cow. Did they take it to them? Now, first of all, the stadium looks awesome. I sat in a box with some good friends overlooking it. Man, beautiful night, beautiful weather, sun going down. The national anthem was great. Just awesome to watch.
We've got a great baseball city.
We do, without question. Without question, they support us big time. Support baseball big time. It's great live. I don't watch baseball on TV.
I don't either.
I don't. Maybe the World Series if I'm kind of into it. Maybe the Cubs or whatever. But normally I'm not. I don't really watch baseball. But when it's live, it's pretty darn cool. All right. So the positives for Florida is number 14. Holy cow.
Yeah.
He looks like Cole Kmet from afar, man. He is gigantic. Joe Gaglione, is that his name? Caglione? Holy moly. This kid.
His brother
what
Jack
a beast.
Was at Florida, too.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
okay. This kid, he is unbeatable. He almost had 2 out of the park. He hit 1. Now, the wind took it. It went down the third base line, and nobody thought it was going out. And the next thing you know, it just went out. Even the right fielder chasing it down. But FSU had the bats, man. They were pounded. Now, interesting enough, so yesterday in the gym, I see a guy, older guy
that's still Jack. Sorry.
What's that?
Jeff. That was still Jack.
What?
Jack Caglione.
Oh, Jack. Yeah,
sorry,
right. Okay,
sorry.
Jack. Know
He's
what I call him?
there.
Joe?
Like, is he still there? Yeah. I was like, wait, is he a brother? No, that's still him.
The
Never
brother.
mind. Sorry,
okay. No. It's all good. But anyway, so I'm in the gym, and this gentleman's decked out in Gator gear. I'm like, I went to the game, the other night, and I'm like, man, FSU had the bats. He's like, yeah, we were pitching all our freshmen, like giving them chances. And I was like, Okay, well, that might make sense because, I mean, they pounded. Even the outs, they were like sizzling line drives, hits to the wall. You're like, man, it was like every hit was a major, crack. But nonetheless, Florida State's got a good team. That's great thing. They got to do more of that. I think more college baseball. It'd be, it's kind of fun. Does UNF and JU, they got to do this. They do it in basketball, right?
Yeah, they play each other.
Well, right, okay. So do they do it in the stadium? That'd be kind of cool if they did it there.
I'm not sure. Yeah. That is a good question. I don't think so because I feel like that'd be an event we'd know more about.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're right. That'd be a great game.
No question. No question about it.
Or a great way to host the game. They obviously play it.
All right, listen. I want to throw something out there. It's kind of a two-tiered question, and we'll get in some other news and notes throughout, but mostly Jag talk today. And I'm bringing this up because it was either early this morning. I get on Twitter early, right? I got my coffee. I'm on Twitter catching things, and I see this thing. I think it was yesterday. One of the like MSN or one of the websites. They do these like hypothetical trade things, and there was a hypothetical trade with our Josh Allen to the Raiders. And swap in first-round picks. The Raiders have number 6, maybe 7, somewhere around there. I think.
That sounds right.
Anyways, if you would look at it just to back me up. So I was like, okay, that's a hypothetical. That's a what-if, kind of thing. And then I started thinking, I'm like, all right. So they haven't come to an agreement on a contract as far as we know as of today. Hey, happy Good Friday, my friend, Mark. Love you, brother. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Where was I at, Grammage?
The Raiders trading
traded Josh Allen. So, look, they haven't gotten a contract done. And they're still working on it. It may be done, but it hasn't been announced yet. And I'm not hearing anything that it is. But let's just say they're having trouble getting it done. And clearly they are. You don't tag them. If you agreed on value already, it would be a done deal. So then I started thinking, all right, well, when things aren't getting done in the contract world, other teams are calling. They probably fielded calls from maybe every team, maybe not every single team, but any team looking for a pass rusher. They've called Trent Baalke and said, hey, would you possibly trade Josh Allen? Is that something you would consider? Not saying that the Jags would do it. This is all a hypothetical thing. But if you believed, because here's the scenario. If you believe you can move on from Josh Allen, right, and Trayvon becomes the number one guy, right? You figure the other side out. You got Gibson, whoever else you end up drafting or whatnot. Even the kid from last year, I don't know if he can do anything. Abdullah, let's see if he can even do anything. But if you believe that, and you could move up into the draft for what? The number one, as high as you could get target for Trevor Lawrence. Would you do the trade?
Well, the Raiders, I just saw their pick is 13.
Okay, not 13. So that wouldn't make sense. You got to get if you're going to give up.
Be like 7.
I was saying 6 to 8. Yeah, I wouldn't expect top 5. Because you're going from 17. So 17 plus Josh Allen. What does that get you? I would say around 6 to 8.
It's got to get me about 10 spots.
Oh, yeah. Good call. So if you could, which may get you who? One of the wideouts.
Marvin Harrison.
Neighbors, maybe.
Neighbors,
I don't know. One of those guys.
Robodunze.
Right.
It's those three.
Right.
Go
the kid from Washington, right? Odunze, he's tough. I watch him a couple times.
Those are the 3 receivers that I could tell you right now unless something happens, unless they get in trouble or something, or some mystery medical thing comes out, those 3 guys are not going to be available at 17. I can tell you that with confidence.
Oh, no, I agree with that.
So
no, they won't be
if you're trading up for a wide receiver, I got to know that I can get one of those 3 guys.
Yeah, the only thing is we all know that can happen in draft. They get a runoff on a position.
Right.
All of a sudden.
Right.
It happens every year. All of a sudden, 3 or 4. It happened 2 years ago. 3 wide receivers went back to back to back, right? The kid up at Garrett Wilson went, and 2 others went right after him, or he was part of the 3. That could happen with O-linemen this year, right? Could happen maybe corner to a certain degree, and then wide out for those 3. If you feel like, because if one's taken away, now I only got 2 left to choose from, I better get up there. How do I get up there? So anyway, would you make that trade? Would you, Grammage, personally make that trade if you could guarantee that you're going to get one of those 3 wide receivers with trading Josh Allen in the 17th pick with one of the top 6 or 8, teams that are listed in the draft order?
No.
You wouldn't do it?
No. I need Josh Allen on my football team.
You need Josh Allen.
I need his leadership. I need his edge rush. I need his ability. I need his performance.
Yep.
And I also need to know that this front office can draft a guy, sign him.
Yeah, you're really big on that. I do understand that, and I
know this regime didn't draft Josh Allen.
I know.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. He's part of the organization. I don't want to see him go. I'm not saying let's trade Josh Allen. All I'm saying is with nothing being done other than the tag, they're definitely talking to people. And it might be a quick phone call. You're not. I'm not interested whatsoever. Or it may be, well, what are you offering? What are you thinking? You got to think Cam might be in those talks too somehow. Unless they're just going to let him play at that number, and maybe they are. I don't know. I still think there's more room to be more work to be done. I think they believe that too.
I sure hope they don't play Cam at that number.
So Cam, you could, if you move on from Cam, how you'd move on, right? You'd move Anton over to left, and then you're drafting a big tackle.
A right tackle,
yeah,
and you're cutting Cam.
Yeah, and then Walker's got 1 year left, so let him be your swing. If he could fill in when needed, great, right? That's the way I would do it. That's if you're ready for that, and who knows? Who knows? I mean, look. They they mention it at that one press conference. They don't say these things. If they believe that, that's part of their. Maybe it's a strategic backup plan. Hey, if we can't get Cam to come down in his number, then this is what we're going to do. Everybody on board with that? Yes or no? And then they make the move. With Josh, it would be more challenging to replace Josh.
Yes,
because although look, you drafted Trayvon number 1. You expect him to be as good as Josh Allen.
Yeah, for
sure. Why you draft him number 1. And it's your pick. You picked him, right? And it was kind of not a controversial pick, but others would have picked Hutchinson or somebody else. But you picked him. So there could be some of that where, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time. We can't find the right contract number. I think they would, right? I don't know. And I don't want to speak for Josh, but again, look at the Brian Burns contract and go from there. It's got to be around there. Go get a little bit more. Give him a little bit more. Call it a day. If he's trying to get way more than that, I'd be hesitant too. There's talk about getting him done early. I would not have offered him earlier. I would not have.
It's so easy to say that.
I know, and everyone's jumping on that. You're like, come on, man. He didn't. And this brings me into my next one of my points is look, you got guys right now like I'm seeing like on people talking about Tyson Campbell, get him done now, and I'm like, what if you get him done now, whatever that number is, and he has another year like he had last year? Maybe injuries are part of it, maybe they're not. What if that happens? You think he's just going to bounce back and everything's going to be great? That's what we hope. That's what I hope, that the young man can get healthy and play some good football. Like I think he's played up until last year. Fair? But that doesn't guarantee that he's going to. So is it worth the risk? Or does the money, it's so big now that it doesn't matter, you're willing to take? Fans are, it's not your money. But I'm just saying, like, organizations aren't sitting there, we could throw away $15 million. We could throw away $30 million in guaranteed money. They don't think like that, or they'd be poor.
Tyson Campbell has played in the NFL for 3 years. He's had one good season.
His second year was very good.
His first year, his rookie year, was a struggle.
It was a little bit.
And then this past year, he was injured most of the year, kind of limped through the season. Even when he played, he wasn't 100%. I believe he'll get back to form. I don't know that he'll get back to form. And it's the same thing with Josh Allen. It's so easy for people to look back now and be like, oh, they should have paid him. They should have paid him. They should have paid him.
Yep. No.
Josh Allen, up until this past season, had a big problem with having a disappearing act for 6 weeks out of the year.
No doubt. No doubt, without question.
No, he had more to prove before he proved himself worthy of a second huge contract. And look what he went and proved it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's time to pay him.
Absolutely.
That no one did anything wrong in that circumstance.
Right.
Now, should they have started their negotiations sooner this offseason? I would say yes.
Yeah.
But in terms of like last year,
I wouldn't have touched
how
it.
it played out is how it should have played out.
I agree. I think we're so quick to jump the gun, like you got to lock these guys up. Well, what if they're not, good enough?
Right, exactly.
What if it's just not there? I see, let's extend Walker Little. Why? Why would you extend Walker Little? Let him play another year. Maybe he, takes a step forward and becomes even, a better player.
Let's extend a guy that can't win a starting spot. Makes no sense.
Right.
Makes no sense.
And again, nothing happens without reason. If Walker was the guy at left tackle, he'd have been the guy already.
100%.
He would have been the guy already. So, look, he does feel in nice, so I'm not saying get rid of Walker at all. I'm just saying I'm not extending. You got to be careful with this. Hey, I'm just going to extend guys. I get it. You don't want to, lose your core guys if they turn out to be really good. But that's the risk you take. I guess the risk is better when it's lower money. But you couldn't have told me after 2022 that Josh Allen was going to have the kind of year that he had consistently. He would show up. Like, look, even in 2021, his big game was against Buffalo. Remember that? It was a great game. And we beat him like 9-0 or 9-6 or something
9-6.
weird like that, right? And he had a phenomenal game. And then he'd be a no-show for 2 games. Yep. In 2022, he'd have phenomenal moments, and then you'd be like, I didn't hear his number once today. And so it's, but last year, what did we say all year? That guy's been a disruptive force. Oh, I'm not even talking to sacks. He was in the backfield playing the run. That guy was just a monster all year long.
And what are fans awarded? Fans are awarded the ability to say whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Without really having to ever be held accountable for it. Because you're not getting paid by the team.
No,
you know
right. Yeah, I love the fans. They get to fan.
Oh, I do too. And I'm a fan myself.
Yeah,
I fan all the time.
Well, I'm not just talking fans I see on Twitter. I see people that they talk about the Jags for maybe not for a living, but there's kind of they got a presence online about it.
I just think that so many people, when a guy will have one good season, or even during the year when they have a couple of good games or they're playing well or whatever, and they'll say, pay him whatever he wants, extend him. Yep. And then if the team actually does it, in 2 years into the contract, that guy's not playing very well, that'll be the same exact person who's going to say, oh, why the hell did they pay this guy? They're in the hole for this guy. What the hell is wrong? Why are we in salary cap trouble?
Right.
So it's just a lot of those, and I've been guilty of it myself.
No, right.
Have done that. And it's easy to get caught up in a moment or one season, or it's just so easy to get caught up in right now that you kind of forget the whole body of work and how you should treat that accordingly.
I would think, in my opinion, Cisco's got a better chance to be extended than Campbell. And I'm not totally sold on doing that yet either, but in my, if you had to weigh it all. The
play's been more consistent.
Yeah.
I think Tyson at his top end has been a better player.
Yeah.
But I think Tyson's floor has been higher.
Right.
He's had less low moments.
Yeah. And look, in no excuses here, but when your D-line was getting worked in the middle, it's tough to play safety. We got to worry about getting the freight train coming and you're the last line of defense. Like, here comes Henry or somebody. You know what I mean? Like, your D-line's getting pushed. Which brings me to another topic about this. We said it earlier. All we're hearing is injury. And I had an interesting conversation with Brian Sexton and Coach Campbell yesterday at the bar at the Horse's Mouth. And, Brian, he defended it. And I was like, look, it's okay to defend it. There's nothing wrong with that. But they got their butts kicked up front. Devon Hamilton hurt. Look, Devon Hamilton came back for the final 5 games of the season. If he wasn't cleared to play, he shouldn't have been out there. If he was too weak.
Agreed.
If he was too weak to play, they wouldn't have cleared him. He was ready to go and play. And he's not, look, maybe a quarter rusty. He's a veteran. It's not like he forgot how to play football. I know what happened, at least in my opinion, to the young man. I think he gets winded, and then he starts standing up straight, and then he gets knocked back. He's not the only one, but that's what happens to Devon. And I would not play him at nose tackle Would not. He's not a nose tackle. He's not. He's not grounded enough to be a nose tackle. You got to be like a fire hydrant. Nobody's moving me. I'm not going anywhere, right? Maybe a tiny bit, but barely at all. And I'm going to split that double team and make a play because you got to go get the linebacker. And I've done my job holding you up enough to where he's got a chance to go make a hit on the running back. You know what I mean? So, this whole look, and then, and I'm not. Look, I like Doug Peterson. I like the way he coaches. I want to see better attitude. We talked about it, that the psyche of this team was whacked from the beginning. It was the whole, like, the hype at camp was so over the top, and not just the media. The players believed it. The coaches believed it. And then they believe in their press clippings in week 2. Like, how do you let that happen? How do you let that happen? How do you have a bad week of practice? I understand a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. But normally when you have a bad day, the next day you come back, it's a great day because you're trying to prove that you're more like today than you were yesterday. And with the champs coming to town, that should have been that should have automatically happened. And then week 3, Houston kicks your butt. You don't show up, and then you got to get out of town. And then your offense never clicked. Your defense carried you. Then the defense got worn down. And then the offense, injuries happen. They do. But, okay, Kirk, big injury, no doubt. It hurt the offense. Who's his replacement? It's Parker. I mean, he made some plays. He missed some plays. He's not Kirk, but he could fill the void. Can he not fill that void? Look, I am biased because I was a backup who became a starter and then flip-flopped throughout the rest of my career, right? I started in this league, and now a backup on first, second, and third down. Short yardage and goal line, I was a starter that first year. But that's just a specialty thing, right? So I coming from when we were backing up, like me and Jeff Cobb and Brant Boyer, and Eddie Mason and guys like that, we were backups. Guess what? That starter got hurt. We could fill that void all day long. Maybe not as like you could run this fast 40, jump, whatever, but you're making plays and the void isn't. You filled the void.
There's not this giant cavern.
Not a big
defense.
gap. Like this guy's just a starter and my backup can't play at all. So that there's no excuse for that. Like, okay. Because what happened to next man up? Every team goes through injuries. What do they say? Man, that really sucks. That sucks. That guy's a great player for us, and we need him. But guess what? It's next man up. We got to move on. We got to get whoever's his backup. We feel good that he can go in there and fill the void. I don't understand, this whole, will we get hurt? And, look, and then I saw a comment about, well, what about San Fran? They lose 3 games in a row. You know what? Purdy was terrible. They didn't block for him very well. Of course, Trent Williams was out, but what about the other 4 guys? So something was going on there. Of course, they turned it around. This injury, I don't like it. Look, some of it, sure. Did you miss Christian Kirk? Yeah, you did. You did. But where was Parker? And when Zay went out, I noticed Elijah gets out there. Trevor never looked at him. I was shocked to see at one point he had like 22 snaps, and Trevor never even looked at him, never even threw to him. He was always looking at Ridley, trying to get the ball to Ridley or Ingram. I don't blame him. I'm just saying that, he threw a little bit to Parker. What do you got? You got some stats for me?
We have breaking news.
Oh, really?
Jaguars are signing linebacker Foye Oluokun to a 3-year contract extension.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
Per Adam Schefter, one
fantastic. You know what? Good. You know what? That brings that cap down. Listen. I think that guy, to me, Foye Oluokun, just so we all cleared, if you didn't hear, Grammage just signed a 3-year extension to stay with the team. One of the most active backers out there. Active meaning he's always by the ball. He's always around the ball. You see 23 everywhere. The guy's very good against the run, very good tackler. He's good against the pass, and he can take it to the house. and he's a good blitzer. I think they need to blitz him more, to be honest with you. I think he's an all-around 3-down linebacker, and we should be thankful to have him. I'm glad he's sticking around. That guy plays ball, man, and I think he's good for Devin. I do. I think he's good for Devin. I still like Devin. I'm not ready. And Devin didn't have a terrible year. And just think, if he didn't have the cast and he had more picks like early in the year, he's playing it lights out. I think he'll have a good year this year, Devin Lloyd. I do. He's got all the tools to be really good. Where they play him is going to be interesting. Are they going if they really are a 4-3, who's your Sam backer? Right? Oluokun will be Mike. You got your Will and you got your Sam. So you got to figure that out. Is it one of these guys like Ventrell Miller? Is he a guy? Can Abdullah play Will and not just rush the passer? I don't know.
Well,
do they draft somebody?
Devin's my Will, right?
Devin's your Will, although, I think he could play Sam. Look, covering the tight ends, it's really challenging. I mean, nobody locks. There's barely, I don't know, I shouldn't say this, but it's hard to lock down a tight end that goes down the field and runs the wheel or the 7 or whatnot. He was never, to me, like in those positions, the only problem I had with Devin last year was that he was out of position a few times, in coverage especially. So he's got to clean that up. That's just going to be a coach getting on his ass because I don't think the old coordinator got any on anybody's ass. At least that's what it seems like and what you keep hearing. But I think it's a great sign, and thanks for that, Grammage, that special report.
Yes, sir.
Brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. That's right. Make sure you check them out all over Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. If you get a chance, click on their pages. I got them highlighted. And, hey, they're just local businesses that I like endorsing. I got a new one to announce as well. Let's go through it. Chris Lucero, Bail Bonds. You get thrown in the clink. He gets you out in a blink. J-Dog Junk Removal, all veteran-owned and operated. You contractors, check them out. Roofers, too, man. They'll get it done for you. They got tins to fill and ready for your business. Carpet Man Flooring, it's more than LVP. It's tile, it's carpet, it's hardwood floors at highest quality at the lowest prices. Solomon Ventures, you know where it is. Atlantic Boulevard and Art Museum Drive. Home goods, that's what it is. Indoor, outdoor, food, clothes, furniture, bikes, recreational, you name it, they have it all at less than wholesale prices. Make sure you check them out. Azar Sausage Company. It's just simply, it's the best. It's the best. It's all over Winn-Dixie and other grocers. Beach Life Rentals, which is also home of Salt Air Inn and Suites, a beautiful boutique hotel 4 blocks from the beach in Atlantic Beach. Of course, Beach Life Rentals, man, they're up and down the coast here in Northeast Florida, where they handle all your renting needs at the beach, whether it's bikes, surfboards, paddleboards, chairs, you name it, umbrellas, they take care of it all for you. Michael Nickus' State Farm, he's been my agent for 20 years. Give a shot to be yours, whether it's auto, life, home, or supplemental health. Graffiti Burger Bar, new ownership, new menu, new management. They are rocking over there. It is a great place to watch March Madness. Make sure you give them a chance right there on 3rd Street in Jacks Beach. Code Ninjas. All right, all you parents, get your kids into coding, man. Coding's cool. They're going to learn how to build their own video game at camp this summer at Code Ninjas. 4 great locations all throughout Jacksonville. I want to thank Adaptive Jacks, my marketing and branding partner, and, of course, 1010XL Studios. And going to welcome my friends, Jalaram Hotels. I've known the Patel family for a long time. They own a portfolio of hotels right here in Northeast Florida, all along the I-95 corridor by JTB, down in St. Augustine, a lot in St. Augustine, and I'll tell you more about them as we go along. So, yeah, great to have them all on board, and appreciate that support. That's a good list right there, Graham. It's a solid team. I'm getting ready to get on Jaguars today. It'll be all Jaguar talk, no doubt about that.
You guys aren't going to break down the Tar Heels?
I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, it's interesting. Real quick, with the draft. You know, I watched Caleb Williams. He did some kind of, spoof with his pink, fingertips, and he said something like "your girl likes pink" or something like that. It was kind of funny. It's funny how people make this. What if they were painted black? Would you be like, oh, he's goth. He's a goth. He's goth, and he's gonna be up late at night playing Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I tell you, but I would like to know this. and I'm trying not to be a smartass about it, and I'm not. Because I watched it again. I Googled, why did he go into the stands after a game, and he was crying on his mom's shoulder. Look, whatever. It's an emotional game. I get it. We all know that. I wanted to try to find, was there a reason like this? Someone die in the family, somebody sick? I couldn't find anything. So if there's a story out there that maybe that's why, then okay, I get that. But if it's just the emotion got to be too much, that would, because I don't care if he has pink anything. I don't, that doesn't mean anything to me. But I want to know that when things get tough, that he is going to be able to persevere and find a way to help my team win that ball game. Now, it's a lot to ask for a rookie. I know that. So I'm talking about during his career. You're talking about the number 1 pick overall, potentially, right? And it looks like he's going to be. But I got to know that he's emotionally strong enough to handle the vigors of being a quarterback in the NFL, and not just a quarterback, being a rookie quarterback, and not just a rookie quarterback, being the number 1 pick overall. That's a lot to handle, and especially, look, it's easier to handle if things go great. Clicks right away with the receiver. Everything's great, man. I love it. It's almost easy. We know it's not easy, but, look at Stroud. What if he has a year like Stroud? Stroud, very confident back there. He was confident in week 3 when they came in here and beat the crap out of us. Remember, nobody could touch him. We didn't even lay a hand on him, I don't think. He whipped the ball all over us, and you're just like, wow, that's pretty damn good quarterback right there. And then did it throughout the year. We got to see how year 2 goes. But it's an emotional thing. I mean, it is by far the hardest position to play in football, without a doubt. I'm not just talking physically. I'm talking mentally and emotionally. You got a lot to carry as a starting quarterback.
In sports.
A lot's on you.
It's the hardest in sports.
Maybe collectively. I mean, I think an NHL goalie's pretty tough. I don't know how you see the puck coming and stop it when it's going 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? But from a emotional, mental, and physical, yeah, you may be right. It's a lot to carry, man. It's a lot to carry. That's why you got to make sure. And that's probably the biggest thing teams miss on, because you don't know till he gets into the bill. You don't know till he gets in with you, to where you see him interact, to where you see him go through these things. You're not going to know. And that's why half the guys don't make it. They don't live up to the draft. They don't live up to the hype. Okay, maybe more than that. But regardless, say it's 50-50. It's not that they can't throw the ball. They can all throw. It's not that they're not athletic. Sometimes it's not that they're not tough. Most of them are tough. Sometimes it's more than that. It's the mental aspect of it, being able to read defenses, seeing disguises, seeing where the blitz is, knowing exactly where to go with the football. That does take time. There's no doubt about that. But then now throw on the emotional side, especially when you're getting your ass kicked. Especially when the paper's just like killing you in the media. And guess what? They don't take it easy on anybody up there. They're not gonna, nor should they. They expect a lot, and they're gonna put a lot, because this is a massive move by Ryan Poles that he traded away Justin Fields. Because if he's wrong, he's probably out of a job in a couple years or so. If he misses, if Caleb turns out not to be the guy that you think he's gonna be, then that's a big miss, and that could cost you a job as a general manager, which is a great job for a young guy. He's under 40, that guy, Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a young GM. He could have a phenomenal career. Not saying he can't bounce back from it. I'm not saying that. Maybe people will look at him later down and be like, all right, he learned his lesson. You know what I mean? And it's tough. I don't know. I'm not up there. I would have kept Justin, but that's from afar. So that's not totally fair. You know what I mean? I can't sit there and say, because, look, they had trouble along their offensive line. They didn't have a ton of weapons. He played okay, got better as the year went on. I think he's got talent. Look, that's the Bears. That's not none of my concern, really, although they are my number 2. But that's where you don't know that. It's that emotional side of it. It's also the work ethic. I'm sorry. I know it's going to sound so terrible, but linebackers can go out at night during the week. You can. Quarterbacks can't. You got to be so entrenched in your craft. You got to be so in tune on the mental side of it. You got to know, everything there is to know on your offense. You're like a coordinator, but performing. So you don't know the guys that do it. Some guys don't. Some guys put in the extra work. Some guys don't. Some guys, come in on Tuesday when they're off day and study all day. Some guys don't. Some guys, take weekends off. I don't know. It just depends. So that's where the biggest thing is, like how how is this kid going to handle? I think that's why J.J. McCarthy's moving up the boards. And I also think that this is just me thinking. They think he's a better Brock Purdy. They think he's got the stature, the mind, the emotional, but they think he's a better Brock Purdy. So they're thinking this kid, I'm going to put him in the right system. I'm going to make it work for him. He's got a livelier arm. He's a little bit better of an athlete. You know what I mean?
Shoo, good luck with that.
I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying that's why he's moving up the boards, and he is. I tell you what, this Michael Penix should move up. I saw him play. I saw Washington play Oregon, which I think it was during the day. It was like a 3:30 kickoff.
Hell of a game.
Both games were great. They played him early and then late. And that kid, Michael Penix, whatever his name is, Jr., he can play. Ran a nice 40, jumped to the moon. He's going to move up too, man. He's got a nice arm. Now, wouldn't it be nice if you're a team that doesn't necessarily need him right now and he's sitting there and maybe you got a quarterback that's a little up there in age? It's time. You know what I'm saying? Tampa, maybe. I know we just extended Baker, but this is a young kid that's got a lot of promise.
Production-wise and arm talent-wise, he was probably the most productive quarterback in college football last year, besides maybe Jaden Daniels. Because Jaden obviously won the Heisman. But a lot of that was his running ability, in my opinion. With Penix, the reason he's not in that conversation with those top guys is his age and his medicals. He has 2 ACL tears, and I think he's 25.
Yeah.
Versus Caleb, Jaden, all those guys are like 21.
Right.
Penix has been in college for forever.
Yeah.
Remember when Indiana had that really good season during COVID?
He was their quarterback.
He was their QB.
That's right. I remember that.
So he's been in college for a long time.
Yeah.
So and there's
it's crazy you can play that long in college.
We're in a weird. I'm not pretending I'm some crazy evaluator or something, but for the guys that do it, we're in a weird spot right now of how to evaluate guys because you've got these Bo Nixes and these Michael Penixes that their production.
Nick scares me. I'm not sold on Bo
I agree,
Nix.
but I'm just saying you've got these guys that the most recent time you've seen them in college, they've been extremely productive, and you're like, okay, are they that productive because they're that good, or are they that productive because they're a man among boys? They're 3 years older than everyone they're playing against. They've seen so much more college ball. Yeah. Of course, you're going to be more productive.
Yeah, and you're more mature.
And are they closer to their ceiling?
Yeah,
that's the big concern.
Right.
If you're close to your ceiling, remember there was that whole thing with Alabama players that Bama does such a good job of getting the most out of their talent that it was almost a bad thing with them coming out because it was like, I feel like they're hitting their peak. I feel like they've already gotten to where they're going to be as a player.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at it like
quarterback's different from other positions.
No, it totally is. Totally is. I was just going to use my own experience. I definitely got better. I mean, when I was. So I played with the Jags 25 to 29. I got hurt in my 5th year. I was 29 years old, right? My first year, the 95 team, I was 25. 28, I was at my peak of playing.
Yeah.
I was the perfect size for me, perfect speed for me, all of it. I knew the game well. I could follow the ball. I knew all the plays. I knew all the I knew what I had to do. I knew all that stuff, and I had good instinct. I was in my that was so I definitely got better. And you should. The more you play, the better you should get until a certain point where your body's like, okay, I can't really do it at this high of a level any longer. Well, you know what I mean? But you should but to your credit, look, if I was 20, I was done at BC at 22. If I was 25, I was 15 pounds heavier. I grew almost another inch. I was way faster. I was way bigger. I was meaner. I was tougher. Physically, mentally, emotionally stronger. It is a big difference, especially when you're going against 19, 20-year-olds that may be starting. You're 25? It's interesting.
Well, think about like Bo Nix and Michael Penix are, and even last year when Stetson Bennett was coming out, who had been at Georgia.
He was like 24, 25.
Stetson Bennett and Trevor Lawrence were the same age.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence had been in the league for 2 years already.
Right. No, right.
So as an NFL GM, that worries me that this guy is like mid-20s and has seen no NFL experience. If he's going to be that age for me, I want him to have gone through some NFL growing pains and NFL bumps and bruises, not just at the college
No,
level.
I agree. I mean, look, that's a big risk. Hopefully you've sat with him long enough and put him up on the board, like he knows enough to where you feel good about taking him. Again, I don't think you take him to be your starter right away. I think you're a team that takes him that kind of falls into your lap kind of deal. But I think it'll happen in the first round. I do at some point.
I also think that Tom Brady kind of made us think that it's normal for quarterbacks to play well into their 40s.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
No.
I mean, how often Tom Brady's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
How often does that actually happen, that a quarterback is 42 and still playing?
Well, and think about this, too. Like, Brady hardly ever, like, for a whole game got killed. Ball was out quick. Half the time he'd drop onto the floor if they were coming at him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He knew when to throw the ball away. He knew where to go with the ball. It was his system. And that's what you want. I mean, like, I don't care where your quarterback's take it. If he's your guy for long term, you want it to eventually be, it's his system.
Right.
It's what he loves doing, how he thrives. It's all about him. You're just trying to make sure you put him in the right position that he can continue to do that.
When Peyton Manning was in Denver, they used to cut to him on the sideline.
Yeah.
Between drives. It was like he was conducting class.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, and he's got his linemen right here. He's got his receivers and his backs over here, and he's just telling he's the coach, man.
That's what you want. The coach. That's what you hope you can get when you draft a quarterback, especially in the first round.
If that's what you're getting, then who cares if he's 25? Because I think he's going to play 15 years.
Yeah.
But again, it's not reality that that's every guy. A lot of guys play, if they're really good, like 10.
Yeah.
And that's if they're really good.
Right. Yeah, and get lucky, with the body. The ACLs would kind of scare me, but in today's day and age, ACLs are so easily fixed, They really are.
The main other problem that I know that scouts have had with Michael Penix in particular, he's not super mobile. And any game, Washington had a very good offensive line. Any game where he got pressure, he really struggled.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, all these guys can throw the ball. All these guys can dive.
This whole throw the bomb at the I could care less that they can throw it 70, 80 yards.
What I care about,
you never will do that in a game.
What I care about, and I'm sure you're the same way because you're a player, and former players always say this, what I care about is when he's getting drilled, can he stand in there
and deliver,
make the throw, and get killed? Trevor's will stand
tough as nails. Tough.
He'll get killed, and he'll still make a throw.
Without a doubt. I'll never say that he's not tough because he is a very tough individual. And look, he just needs to develop even more. Doug feels like he's going to handle it this year, so let's handle it. Well, I think I got to wrap it up, man. I got to head over to the radio, right through these walls. If I could go right through there, we'd be right in the middle of the studios. You can go to the 1010XL's YouTube channel if you want to check us out there. This show will be up on 1010XL's YouTube channel as well. As we broke the news. Well, we didn't break it, but we broke it on this show. Grammage did. Foye Oluokun, the Jaguars stud middle linebacker, gets a 3-year contract extension, lowering his cap and helping the team out and sticking around so I'm sure Ryan Nielsen was happy about that. That's a ball player. That's a guy you want on your team. No question about that. All right, once more, would you trade Josh Allen and number 17 to move into the top 6 or 8 picks of the draft? And that's the question of the day, of the weekend, maybe. I don't know. Depends how you feel about Trayvon Walker, man. You know what I mean? I don't know how they really, truly feel about him. I tell you what, I saw out of him, the dip started coming. The natural dip. The guy's 6'6", 285, 290, natural dipping, man.
I just think you finally got to a spot where you really feel like you've got two edge rushers opposite each other.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I'd be so upset if they just got rid of one of them.
No,
I know. Hell, man?
No, I know. And they had a phenomenal year together and individually. And I'd like to see Josh here for for another few years at least, right? Maybe
I want
even
Josh here
retire.
for the next 10, man.
Yeah.
Hell.
Well, you never know with
He's
the
the type
money
of guy
and
that
all
could
that.
play 15 years at his
He
position.
might, yeah. You
Dude,
could.
I want Josh to be here. I want him to retire a Jaguar. I want him to make his home here. You can tell from his personality he's that kind of guy.
Oh, I agree. I'm all in on
Your
Josh.
crop of guys in your era for the Jaguars had that, and it put us on the map, and it made us respected, and it made people understand how great it is to live here, how great
no doubt
of an organization is to play for. There's been this gap, man, of 20 years of this. I need guys like Josh Allen, guys like Trevor Lawrence to make us not a laughing stock anymore.
Yeah. Well, just win, baby, as the late Al Davis would say. All right, that'll do it for us this time around. Happy Good Friday to you out there, man. We do celebrate in my home and thinking about our good Lord today and all throughout the weekend. Want to wish everybody a happy Easter. I tell you, if you got young kids, man, enjoy it. We're not no scavenger hunts anymore. No Easter egg hunts. We do the baskets still, but I tell you, when you got little ones and they're roaming the house and outdoors trying to find the golden egg, there's nothing like it, man. It's absolutely a fantastic time. Wish you all a safe and happy weekend. And until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.